I had an encounter with the Lion of Judah. What an encounter! I saw him in his power, in his authority, in his strength and might. He was majestic and nothing could stand against him. I saw him standing on the roof of a house, and he was poised and focused looking out into the distance. The sense surrounded me that he was on guard. What struck me besides his power and authority was how big he was. He was the size of at least another house. If I was to climb up on his back, I would have been the size of an ant. Each one of his beautiful soft, yet strong paws rested upon the four corners of this house. The next thing I heard was the sound of the enemy and his army, and they were flying towards this house. They were cackling and snickering at their mischievous, hidden plans and assaults they were about to release upon the households of God's people. They flew with great speed towards God's people, and as the houses they were targeting were coming into sight, they put on the brakes. They looked like cartoon characters who zooming at 1,000 miles an hour and suddenly had to come to a stop. They were almost skidding through the air to be able to stop suddenly. Why? Because they saw him. He opened his mouth and let out the loudest and most powerful roar I have ever heard. As he roared, it was so clear that nothing could stand against him, and nothing could stop him. The enemy and his army turned around and began to fly in the opposite direction. As they were fleeing, I noticed that they had their tail between their legs, and they were yelping like dogs that had been hurt. He continued to roar, and he watched as they fled, not taking his eyes off them. As his roar filled the atmosphere, I watched as light flooded out of his paws. As the light exploded out of his paws, I watched this incredible light begin to create bars all around this house. I watched as a cage of light was being formed around this house, and it continued until the entire house was contained inside the most glorious cage of light. In the natural a cage would contain, but this cage was full of light, freedom and peace. His light exploded through the front door and spread through the entire house, leaving no room or part of the house untouched. He was bringing a cleansing, healing, restoration, vindication, and peace. As I looked at this cage of light, I heard a booming voice that said Zechariah 9:12 over and over. Return to your stronghold, O prisoners of hope, today I declare that I will restore to you double. He is roaring over your home, and over your family, and the enemy is fleeing with his tail between his legs. He is restoring hope to your home. You shall know hope in Jesus like you have never known before. In his cage of light, you shall know his safety and his provision and increase. Divine heavenly alignment and government is entering your home. You shall know the miracles and recompense of God. There is an army of angels standing guard around your home in front of this cage of light, and the Lion of Judah is on guard. Everything that the enemy has attempted to take from you or throw at you, I declare to you today that he is restoring double to you.